Hello, my name is Davorin Anton Dumancic. I'm come from Stiamagis company, and I'll be talking about our product, Skyflow BPM. It's a document management and business process management product, and how can you use it to customize it for your end client's needs. So we'll be just going briefly through the applications and some case management. About me, I skipped that. I've been in development for, I don't know, a couple of decades. Since primary school, Amiga, Aztec C, and Seca, and stuff like that, if you do remember some of that stuff. And on the document management side, I've been working for 15 years, 10 of which is in Stiamagis. I also do have a master's degree in the distributed document management system from University of Zagreb. So I'll be talking a bit about the platform and some applications that we do have on this platform. For those of you who didn't know or haven't heard on Stiamagis, we've been here for 10 years and we specialize in document management and process management, but we also do provide a lot of other development from production automation to just some pure consulting. Our clients and customers are from small companies to big enterprises. The biggest one locally is Lactalis Group. Lactalis is the biggest world dairy product manufacturer, and it has company Dukat Kim here in Croatia and some others. And we are doing document management for them and for the companies in the region. Podravka is also well known, and some other, you can see it printed out here. So Skyflow platform, it's our solution for document and process management. It's something that tries to bring things a little bit closer to the end users so you can easily roll out the projects. Its goals for its creation comes from our 15 years experience. So we did a lot of projects in archiving, digitalization, and process management, and all these projects have a kind of self-repeating pattern. You define, when you talk about digitalization, you talk about classes, properties, how is this archived, and how can user access the documents and search upon it. So we try to do something that would be as easy as it gets to perform all these tasks. Then we try to do the same for the business processes, and we try to put in this platform a ready-made application that you could just use out of the box. Also, goals for our development was to empower user as much as possible, and this is to reduce the maintenance tasks. The processes are, redefined constantly every year, so we try to bring all of that in application to create a transition as easy as possible. And we did develop this Skyflow to run on AWS and on-premise installations just to enable smaller companies to use our products. So they didn't need to have much budget to use some of these services. So Skyflow consists of several applications. One is Doc Portal. It is used for document management, for creating simple document management archives. Then APGo Accounts Payables. It's an invoice processing application. So everybody has invoices, so it's something that's usually introduced when using DMS or BPM systems in organization for the first time. We have Orders Go. Orders is something that precedes the accounts payable, just to have one process, one complete process from order creation, approval, and then receiving invoice and completing the process. And we have Skyflow BPM. This is a solution for creation of processes through the platform and deployment and everything like that. We have several other modules, but these are the main ones. When creating the platform, so we took a special notice on client empowerment. So we wanted for the client to be able to customize its processes and archives directly through the application. So some project that would last for a couple of weeks or a couple of months could be done in a couple of days or even less. So we try to put all of the features that would usually involve BPM specialists just to use the application, click on the editors and wizards that are supplied in this, and just to have a ready-made application by themselves. So what can you do? All aspects of the digital archives can be managed in the user interface. All configurations is deployed without any restart of the system, so everything is hot. For Doc Portal, it means classes, properties, archiving rules, and stuff like that. For processes, the flow itself, assignment, document generation, and many other things. And for invoicing application, usually templates for approving the documents throughout the organization. So how is Skyflow installed? On AWS, we have a package of our own applications with some additional modules, and it's all based on Alfresco DMS and Activity BPM, so we didn't reinvent the wheel with our own custom code, but it's a layer on top of these products. And they use AWS infrastructure like EC2 servers for Alfresco and application, S3 for document management, Dynamo and MySQL for data management, most recently Textract for OCR and invoice automation and stuff like that. So how can you customize it? So Doc Portal, which is for digital archive creation, you can just click through the user interface to create document class, to enter properties, archive rules, and everything else after that is automatically created through the user interface. So you can search for the documents based on these properties and classes and full content text. Also, you do have case management and dossier management capabilities and some other integration. I'll try to be as fast as possible to get to lunch, so I'll just skip this. You can ask me later about the details. So how do you customize it? Okay. So we need to enter all of this data to have a digital archive. Okay. So one example comes from HDS, that's Croatian Collective Society for Music, ZAMP, if you heard of that. They wanted to create an archive for board members, and they wanted to have documents based on each sector for that board members. So they wanted to make an application, and we proposed the Doc Portal solution. So how it's organized, we just enter the board documents as a top class of the system, and then have subclasses clicked in the by sector for each of the type of the document. They have some custom properties. These are usually dates, contracts, entry, expiration, and stuff like that. And the archiving was clicked, through the editor. It doesn't look, I don't know if you can see it. It's a little bit foggy, but it's something that you would just go through the editor and then just select. It will be stored in a board archive, and then select properties, which will create folders based on that properties. People will index all the properties of the system, and we created custom search. So a case like this was developed in 2 days, and only 1 day we used to create custom search that they needed. Basically, most of the configurations can be done in a day, and a user can automatically use their archive as it is, so it's really fast and easy for the development. Another even simpler example of using Doc Portal is for PPS Galekovic. They are a local wood industry here. They wanted to have their production log in the archive in a digital way so they can review it later on. And their basic requirement to have is this logs from different production sites, and each site had different production lines, and it just create logs every day, and they are printed out, and they wanted to store it in a DMF. So this was their requirement for the application. So we had a meeting of that, and after the meeting we just used the built-in wizard, create a document classes that consisted on their hierarchy has production site and production line, so you don't have to develop anything, okay? There are no properties, only the document date that is already supplied in the system. And archiving was performed just creating a rule that said production log / company / production site line, and then the date of the document. So we are able to do this kind of application in a day. Just after the meeting, we just set it up, and they began scanning the documents in the archive right away. So using the SkyDoc portal, it's just easy as this to resolve end user needs without making any development or customization. So this is for digitalization. On the process side, we have several applications. We used accounts payable for longest time. It's used for invoice approval, and we focus here on the validation on invoice. So not the complete process, but the part where it takes longest time. So I'm not going to go through all this. You can see it in conference materials, a little bit more on tomorrow's sessions. But what we wanted to reduce here is the paper handling of the documents. So for papers not to travel, through the departments, through the location and stuff like that. So we can reduce time it takes for the administrative task to complete this. So how it is done? It's pretty simple and basic. Once you get the invoice, it goes, just clicked a little bit too far. Once you get the invoice, it just tests for technical validity. You should check if it is invoice or not, And if it is, go to data entry. This is commonly integrated with some kind of ERP, and then go through several levels of approvals in the system. And once it is approved, it goes to bookkeeping, archiving, and stuff like that. So where can you customize this? Most of the customization comes here in the middle part. We have a laser now. So I'll just show you the middle part, okay? Validation or user task management, or any way you want to name it, can be performed by one person, by SME, by a group of users, commonly the department, or someone in a role. So how does our system works? So what you can do, you can create a templates of approvals in the system, and each template is based on the actual properties of the invoice itself. So for each set of properties, and this usually means company, department, maybe a partner or something like that, you would define a template how it is validated throughout the system. It's just click in wizard, then you can define users, groups, or roles who should validate it. So the good thing is that you don't need to have every way of possibility of defining the template. We have built-in exceptions like pre-approval and assignments. So if you get an invoice and it was ordered by somebody under your organization, you can just request a pre-approval from them. They would validate it, and it would be returned to you. So this all is executed ad hoc in the system, and you can, have this as much as possible, these templates. Also, there could be templates for validation can be conditioned most commonly by amount of the invoice. So you don't want to have all of the invoices come to the board. So you would limit them by amount, currency, and maybe some other stuff. So what else can you customize? Apart from the approval templates, you can enter companies, cost centers. If you have organization with multiple companies, then you can enter them in the system and have specific customization from them. You can add roles. This brings a more general template, so you can have a role of person who actually ordered something, have him validated that the order was complete before validating the invoice. You can have the complete process set up based on a directory where the invoice was firstly introduced. So if you have invoices coming from a different location, then you may have different administrative persons that need to go through the process on the start. And you have user and groups managed and stuff like that. All of this is without any restart of the system, so you can just add template and they're just running all the time. No need to restart, re-log in and stuff like that. Okay. So example of this, I said Lactalis was one of our biggest companies. We started with Ducat, their IT team, that used this as a prototype for DMS implementation, okay? So we used invoice only for them for a couple of weeks. Then we moved to the complete Ducat, okay, in Croatia, and then to all other companies in Lactalis group in Croatia. And currently we are doing this for 13 companies in 6 countries. They have 216 different templates of approvals for all that companies. Practically anybody who is entered in an Active Directory can come to our application and approve the invoice if he is allowed to. And we have up to 2017, 5 million documents in the system, from which are 1.3 millions of invoices. And the biggest volume was in 2016, almost 500,000 invoices was run through the system, and this is only a single server system, so everything is installed on a single server. Our solution, MySQL, file management and stuff like that. And how long did it took us? Once we have the installation ready for all the other companies, it usually takes a day just to introduce the system for them. Kim was our next company after Ducat, and we implemented that in a single day. In the morning, we just enter new templates of approval for that company. They educate users, and usually in the afternoon, everything is ready for production, and they just did it. Okay, so it was not a problem. Okay, and quickly, the last segment of our SkyFlow platform is the SkyFlow BPM. It's a tool to quickly and easily manage the business processes. So we wanted to do the same thing as for digitalization with Doc Portal, just to be able to create small digital archive in a day or two without a lot of need for development and customization, something that will be easily and ready. So we did create this interface for creating the process through the applications. You can just use your mouse and click and create process, create transition between them, create documents, create emails, and everything is available through the system. So you can easily create some simple processes without any coding, anything like that. You can deploy it and have it ready also without any kind of restart. Everything is automated. These are some, wizard for defining the process, but once you define it, it just runs and it's available for the users. You have administration console, applications, and stuff like that. This is email and everything you need to do for creating some lightweight processes. We also do provide, or we try to install a SkyDB of the database of these processes. These are the processes that you can just download and put in your repository, customize it, and you just run it without any need to develop it or anything like that. So you can have some common processes like document approval, vacation approval that are already made. You just maybe customize how the documents are generated, and it's all set and done. So I'll try to be quick because of the lunch. Okay, we were tight on the time. So do you have any questions, or are you just hungry? My colleague Mario and I will be here, so you can ask me. We have a session tomorrow at noon also, so we'll be talking a bit more about use cases here. So thank you all and have a good lunch. Dobar tek.